How to start reading. Attention! For this video, I want you 100% focus, so that you will get the most out of this video. Do not distract yourself while watching it. Thank you for subscribing, liking and commenting. Welcome to Mind Mentor. Today we will talk about how you can start to read. But first, we will discuss why you should start to read. Reading is probably one of the most manliest traits you can have. You may raise an eyebrow now and think to yourself that this is not true, that you can't see and don't see men reading. And you are right. It is a trait most men lost throughout time. Many, if not almost all, historical figures read to get more wisdom. Close your eyes and imagine seeing how Abraham Lincoln, the man that many people associate with a real man, bringing unity and democracy, freedom to the United States. Abraham Lincoln is maybe one of the most manliest men to ever exist, and he had a passion for reading. Winston Churchill and Roosevelt, those men that led the Western world through the Second World War, were all readers. And you want to tell me that it's not masculinity or that you don't need it? Open your eyes and put your ego to the side. Take some humility and let us start to read again like in the masculine eras of the world. Now we get to the problem of the modern world, which we discussed back in a previous video. Social media, and especially short-form content. Short-form content is ruining your attention span. And this is the reason why you can't read. Because you don't even remember what you read on the last sentence. You read it again and try to get to the next sentence, but you forgot the sentence before again. And you start to think to yourself if you don't know how to read, and what could possibly be wrong with you. I myself was in the same position like you. I read a book. The first book I read in ages. Probably 4 to 5 years, and the last book I only read back then because of school. And I started to get in self-improvement, and I knew that I needed to start reading. So I started to read. But note that back then I was maybe 3 to 6 months into self-improvement. And I think everybody knows or are experiencing the beginnings of self-improvement and know how hard the beginning is. So I start to read the book and I notice how I forget what I read the sentence before. I wonder about it and read the sentence again. And still it is like I would have not read or can't read anymore. Like I would read some gibberish. I read it again, focusing hard, and still I could not understand what the simple sentence was about. It is because of your bad habits of scrolling through social media, and especially because of short-form content. Let's say you scroll through TikTok or Instagram and watch short-form content. And let's assume that every video goes around about 15 seconds long. And now we assume that you watch every piece of short-form content you get without skipping, which is already making the numbers look better than they really should be. Because even if you skip a video, your brain keeps the information. If you would watch only 1 hour of short-form content, you will see 240 videos. 240 different pieces of information. And this is calculating with pretty reasonable numbers. Many short-form content are shorter than 10 seconds. And you skip many videos you don't like. So we get easily to 300, maybe even 350 videos in an hour that you watch. This is way too much information for your brain. And logically, your brain cannot and will not remember what you watched. Which is why you even sometimes forget what a previous video was that you just watched. And this was just 1 to 2 seconds ago. Because you simply overload your brain with information in such short spans of time. I mean, think about it. 300 different pieces of information in 1 hour. If you scroll through social media and short-form content for 5 hours, which is a sad reality of many people, you get about 1,500 pieces of information. And this is just the information you get from social media. Through your life, you get many other informations, and your brain will just be completely overloaded with informations. So now you think to yourself, okay, this does sound pretty bad. And yes, it is. So first, for you, no social media, or at least no short-form content. This will keep your brain on an information diet that is really needed. But here you get even more actionable steps on how to reverse this fact. You need to read some long book. It does not depend which. I personally started back then with reading the Bible, because I wanted to get closer to God. So I read the Bible for 30 minutes every day. Plus, I read some other books for as much free time as I had. So on some days I had no time, on others I could read up to 2 hours. But you can just start with one book. I can recommend you to start with the Bible, so you simultaneously get closer to God. But if you don't want to start with the Bible, choose some other book you always wanted to read, and that is really long. So at least 500 pages. I know, this is much, but the Bible has almost 1,400 pages. And this in really small text. So if I can read the Bible for 30 minutes every day, you can read the Bible too, or some other book for 30 minutes every day. And the book must have at least 500 pages. So, to conclude everything, reading is one of the most masculine traits men can have. But it has been lost through our modern world and time. The problem is that through our modern world, we consume too much information, especially through short-form content. This problem is the reason why you cannot read a book without forgetting the sentence you last read about, and having to repeatedly reading the sentence until you understand what it means and memorizing what the information of it was. To stop that, you have to take your brain on an information diet. So no social media, or at least no short-form content. You can watch, for help with that, my video called Dopamine Detox Easy Guide. And the second actionable step is to start reading a book with at least 500 pages every day for 30 minutes. You can start with the Bible, but if you don't want to start with the Bible, just choose any other book with more than 500 pages and read it every day for 30 minutes to increase your attention span and form the habit of reading. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and commenting. And next week you will get the next step. I am Mind Mentor, and I'm content to bring and help you through this journey. I will upload 1 video a week on Saturday, so you have enough time to get used to every step you will take. Until then, make your family, God, or yourself proud.